Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going deep with Carla Rueckert's "Living the Law of One: The Choice."
Ooh,
And this one I think is going to be especially great for anyone listening who is already a student of the Law of One,
yeah,
because this book, uh, it kind of goes beyond the philosophy of the Law of One and gets into like, okay, how do we actually like live this?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's our mission today, to uncover some of the practical takeaways from living the law of one, the choice, specifically for someone like you who is already familiar with the law of one.
Yeah, and it's really great how Carla kind of takes us by the hand and says, here are some things you can actually do to apply these principles in your daily life.
Right, right.
So one of the first things that kind of jumps out at you when you start reading the book is that she highlights December 2012.
Oh, yeah.
And back when she wrote the book, this was in 2005, this was seen as like a really crucial time for choosing polarity.
Yeah, the 2012 era,
Everybody,
right. Everyone was talking about it.
yeah, it was a big deal.
Was it going to be the end of the world? Were we all going to ascend? What was going to happen?
Exactly. Yeah.
And of course, we know now that, you know,
Yeah.
things weren't so cut and dry.
Yeah, it wasn't like a sudden shift or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was more of a gradual process.
Yeah, but it's interesting, though, that even though that specific date might not hold the same weight now, the concept of choice itself is still like super central to the law of one.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. It's like no matter what year it is, we're always at a crossroads.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Carla's work. She manages to connect these seemingly like time-bound ideas to these timeless principles. Like, okay,
Right.
maybe the timeline shifted, but the fundamental truth remains
Yeah. Yeah.
that we are always choosing,
Right.
and those choices have an impact.
Yeah. And she brings in this concept of the game board
Oh, yeah, yeah.
to kind of explain this whole concept of choice and consequences.
Yeah, right. It's like she's saying life is a game
Yeah.
with certain rules
Right.
and objectives.
Objectives, yeah. Uh, as a Law of One student, I've always been like really intrigued by the idea of time, space, and space-time, and how those concepts relate to our choices here in third density.
Yeah.
Like, where does that fit into this game board analogy?
Well, if we think about it in terms of the law of one,
Okay.
time-space represents kind of that infinite realm
Right.
where all possibilities exist.
It's like the blueprint,
Exactly.
almost,
Yeah.
right? Like outside of the game itself.
Yeah, and then we have space-time, which is the game board itself,
Right.
where we're actually playing out the game.
Okay, so how does understanding this game board concept, for us as Law of One students, how does that change the way we approach our daily lives and choices?
Well, it's like Carla is giving us a peek behind the curtain,
Ooh.
revealing the mechanics of the game so we can play it more consciously.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so it's not just about going through the motions.
Yeah.
It's about making choices that are in alignment
Right.
with our desired outcomes.
So how does this tie into the whole idea of unconditional love,
Oh, that's a great question.
which is like the foundation of the Law of One?
Right, well, Carla reminds us that the creator's love is absolute,
Right.
but it's up to us, the players, to discover that love within ourselves.
Okay.
So it's like the game is designed to help us remember who we truly are.
Okay, so it's not just about winning or losing.
Exactly.
It's about like how we play
Yeah, yeah,
and the love that we express along the way.
exactly. And that brings us to the concept of graduation.
Cracky
We're in third density.
Yeah. Now, as someone who's familiar with the Law of One, there's been a lot of talk about graduation, ascension, what happens after this life.
Yeah.
So how does Carla's explanation of graduation in Living the Law of One differ from like other interpretations?
Well, she really emphasizes that graduation is about achieving a sufficient level of polarization.
Okay, either toward service to others or service to self.
Okay.
So those who choose the positive path, who learn to open their hearts, and radiate love, they have the potential to transition to a fourth density positive planet.
Okay. So not everyone is guaranteed to graduate to fourth density,
That's right.
even if they're generally, oriented towards service to others.
Exactly.
What happens in those cases?
Well, that's where Carla suggests the possibility of continuing in another third density cycle,
Oh, okay.
perhaps on a different planet,
Oh, interesting.
like repeating a grade until we've mastered the lessons.
Oh, I like that analogy. Yeah.
And for those who consistently choose service to self,
Right.
she explores the concept of graduation in kind of a negative sense,
Okay. Yeah.
meaning they might choose to transition to a fourth density negative planet.
Wow.
So there are different paths.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, depending on our choices.
Now, that brings up some interesting questions about those historical figures who are often, cited as examples of negative polarization.
Like
Yeah.
Hitler, for example.
Right.
We often hear about these individuals in the context of the law of one,
Mm-hmm.
but Carla actually dives deeper into their choices and the consequences of those choices.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating is that she clarifies that even figures like Hitler, with all the negativity,
Right.
didn't necessarily achieve that level of polarization
Okay.
to graduate to a negative fourth density.
Really?
Yeah, it's not as simple as
So it's more complex than we might initially think.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It highlights the complexity of polarization.
Yeah, and it reminds us that even the most extreme examples are still evolving,
Exactly.
and that even someone like Hitler experienced healing in the astral planes after physical death.
Yes,
Wow, that's powerful.
it is. Yeah.
So the journey of spiritual growth doesn't end with this life.
No, not at all.
Okay, and this is where Carla's focus on the energy body and the chakra system comes in.
Yeah, and she really dives into the practicalities of working with each chakra, which is especially relevant for Law of One students.
Yeah, okay, so let's get into that.
Okay.
Now, we know the chakra system is complex
Yeah, it is.
and multifaceted.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure most Law of One students have like a basic understanding of it.
Yeah.
But what does Carla bring to the table that's like unique or particularly insightful?
Well, she goes beyond just describing each chakra,
Okay.
and she offers really specific advice on how to work with them
Okay.
to enhance our spiritual growth
Hmm.
and our alignment with the Law of One.
Okay, so give us an example.
Okay, so for example, she delves into the red ray and sexuality,
Ooh, that's a good one.
a topic that often gets, kind of glossed over or even demonized.
Yeah, it's kind of taboo, right?
Yeah, it's like this weird taboo, especially when you're talking about spiritual development.
Yeah.
But Carla, she doesn't shy away from it at all.
Okay, so what's her take on the connection between the red ray and sexuality?
Well, she emphasizes the importance of grounding and accepting our sexual energy
Hmm.
as a vital life force, not something to be, feared or repressed.
Huh.
It's about recognizing that this energy is a gift
Yeah.
from the Creator and learning to use it constructively.
So it's not just about sex itself.
Right.
It's about our relationship with our physical bodies and our place in the material world.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's about feeling secure and empowered in our own skin.
And then she moves up to the orange ray, which deals with relationships
Yes.
and personal power.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I think things get really interesting.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Yeah, especially those of us on the service to others path.
Exactly.
Because
Okay.
how do we reconcile the concept of personal power
Right.
with the idea of selflessness and service to others?
Right. How do we balance those two?
Yeah, because it seems almost like a contradiction.
Yeah, it can feel that way.
Yeah.
But Carla explains that personal power isn't about dominating others.
Oh, yeah.
It's about using our energy responsibly and recognizing the dynamics of power in all of our interactions.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, she even talks about shifting from dramas to sitcoms in our relationships.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, moving away from those codependent, energy-draining dynamics
Right, right.
and toward more balanced and
Right.
joyful connections.
It's like, are we creating drama in our relationships or are we bringing levity?
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good one.
And then, of course, we have the green ray,
The heart chakra.
the heart chakra, all about unconditional love.
Ah, the green ray, the heart and soul of the law of one.
Yes.
It's like the source of all our compassion and empathy and connection to others.
Yeah, it's beautiful energy.
But even with that understanding, like putting unconditional love into practice is hard,
Oh, it's so challenging.
right?
Yeah, it's definitely a lifelong practice.
We're constantly bombarded with like negativity
Right.
and confronted with situations that trigger our judgments and our fears.
Ex-
So how does Carla approach this challenge in a way that's practical and accessible?
Well, she emphasizes self-forgiveness and self-acceptance as being foundational to radiating that love outward.
Okay, so it's like you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
If we haven't learned to love and accept ourselves, how can we authentically extend that to others?
Exactly.
And that's where the blue ray comes in,
Yes, the throat chakra.
the center of authentic communication.
Yes, speaking our truth.
Right, the blue ray is all about speaking our truth and expressing our love and inspiring others with our words.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about talking, is it? It's about the quality of our communication.
Oh, absolutely.
So what insights does Carla offer on how to use our voices in a way that aligns with the law of one?
Well, she emphasizes speaking from the open heart,
Okay.
allowing our words to flow from a place of love and compassion.
So it's like, are we using our words as weapons, or are we using them as tools of healing?
That's a great way to put it.
Are we communicating from our ego or from our soul?
Exactly, and she even touches on Blu-ray sexuality.
Blu-ray sexuality. Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
What is that all about?
Well, it's about recognizing that sexual energy is a powerful force
Okay.
that can be transmuted and transformed
Mhm.
into spiritual energy. It's
Interesting.
not about denying or repressing our sexuality. It's about consciously raising its vibration
Okay.
and using it for spiritual growth and connection.
So it's like taking that raw primal energy and
Yes,
channeling it into something higher,
exactly.
something more aligned with our spiritual purpose.
Yes, and this leads us into the higher chakras,
Ooh, okay.
the blue, indigo, and violet rays.
The gateway, but I'm always eager to hear like new perspectives on how to access it, how to work with this energy.
Yeah, and Carla offers some really great insights. So
Yeah.
she highlights 3 primary ways to work with this gateway:
Okay.
channeling,
Okay.
healing,
Yeah.
and, as we just discussed, sacred sexuality.
Okay. So channeling.
Channeling, in its purest form, is about serving as a conduit for higher wisdom,
Okay.
allowing information and inspiration to flow through us from realms beyond our ordinary perception.
It's like becoming a vessel for something greater than ourselves.
Exactly. Allowing that wisdom of the universe to flow through us and into the world.
And then there's healing.
Yes, which can take many forms.
Right.
From energy healing to simply offering a compassionate presence to someone in need. It's about facilitating healing
Okay.
through the transfer of energy.
So it's recognizing that we all have the capacity to be healers,
Yeah,
to channel that love and light to others,
exactly. Yeah.
and to help facilitate their own healing journeys.
And as we activate and balance these higher chakras,
Right.
we open ourselves up to this whole new level of spiritual perception.
It's like stepping through a doorway into a realm of expanded consciousness.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that brings us to pyramid energy.
Ooh, yes.
Now you might be thinking, pyramid energy, what does that have to do with the law of one?
Right. It sounds a little out there,
It does.
but it's actually more connected than you might realize.
Okay, I've always been curious about pyramid energy, but I've never really dived into it.
Yeah.
What's the connection between pyramid energy and the principles of the law of one?
Well, Carla explains how pyramid geometry naturally amplifies
Okay.
and focuses the creator's love light energy,
Interesting.
making it a powerful tool for healing and meditation.
Okay.
She even delves into the story of the Great Pyramid's construction as described by Ra in the Law of One Material,
Oh, wow.
highlighting its purpose as a tool for spiritual initiation and transformation.
So it's not just about the physical structure of the pyramid.
Right.
It's about the energy that it embodies.
Yes.
But how practical is this for the average law of one student?
Right. Do we all need to go build our own pyramids?
Do we need to go to Egypt?
Well, the book actually provides instructions
Oh, cool.
for creating smaller pyramids
Yeah.
for personal use.
Oh.
And there are even pyramid-shaped meditation tools available.
Oh, that's interesting.
The key is to understand the principles behind pyramid energy
Okay.
and to use it with intention and respect.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the game board of life to the gateway to intelligent infinity.
Yes, it's been a wild ride.
It has. And it's like Carla has given us a treasure map.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Right. It's filled with clues and tools to help us navigate our spiritual journeys.
Exactly.
But as Law of One students, it's up to us to take those tools
Yes.
and apply them
In our own unique ways.
in our own unique ways.
That's the beauty of it.
She even talks about becoming a spiritual athlete, which I love.
Oh, I love that too.
It's like we're training for this cosmic marathon,
Yeah.
constantly pushing ourselves to expand our awareness, deepen our compassion, refine our service to others.
And just like any athlete, we need discipline. We need dedication.
Yeah, and we need to be willing to push beyond our comfort zones.
Absolutely. But the rewards are immeasurable.
Right, right.
A deeper connection to the creator, a more fulfilling life,
Yeah.
and the satisfaction of knowing that we're playing our part in the grand symphony of creation.
There's one more concept from the book that I wanted to touch on before we wrap up, and that's indigo children.
Ooh. Yes.
Carla mentions them as fourth density wanderers
Right.
who are here to help with Earth's transition. This is a topic that has always kind of fascinated me.
Yeah, it's a popular one.
But I've also heard some skepticism about the whole indigo child phenomenon.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's certainly a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
And one that resonates with a lot of people,
Mm.
especially those who feel a strong sense of purpose
Right.
and a deep connection to something beyond the material world.
Okay.
So Carla suggests that these souls have already experienced fourth density
Okay.
and have chosen to incarnate here
Wow.
to assist with the shift in consciousness.
So they're like pioneers paving the way for this new era of love and light.
In a way, yes.
Yeah, okay.
They often possess unique abilities, a strong sense of intuition,
Okay.
and they tend to challenge the status quo, push the boundaries of what's considered normal.
But isn't there a danger in, like, labeling individuals as indigo children?
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Like, could it create a sense of separation or elitism?
Right, and I think it's important to approach this concept with discernment
Okay.
and avoid creating unnecessary divisions.
Mm-hmm.
The key is to recognize that we all have the potential to embody these qualities
Right.
of compassion, intuition, a willingness to challenge those outdated paradigms,
Right.
regardless of whether we identify as an indigo child or not.
So it's not about fitting into a specific category or label. It's about embodying those qualities that are inherent to our true nature.
Exactly, and whether or not we believe in indigo children,
Right.
their example can inspire us to tap into our own innate wisdom
Yeah, I like that.
and to embrace our roles as catalysts for positive change.
It seems like living the law of one offers a path forward for all of us.
It does.
Whether we resonate with the concept of indigo children or not,
Right.
it's like a toolbox filled with practices and insights to help us refine our choices, deepen our connection to the Creator,
Yes.
and become more effective instruments of service to others.
And that's ultimately what makes this book so valuable
Yeah.
for Law of One students.
Yeah, okay.
It provides practical steps for translating these lofty concepts into tangible actions
Right.
and choices.
It's like a bridge between the theoretical and the practical,
Exactly.
between the spiritual and the mundane.
Yeah, it's about making the Law of One a lived experience,
Right.
integrating it into every aspect of our lives.
From our relationships to our work to our spiritual practices.
Absolutely. And that integration requires self-awareness,
Right.
dedication, and a willingness to confront our own shadows.
Speaking of shadows, Carla places a lot of emphasis on shadow work.
She does.
For those of us who might be new to this concept, what exactly is shadow work?
Well, shadow work is about acknowledging and integrating those aspects of ourselves
Okay.
that we tend to repress,
Oh, beautiful.
deny, or project onto others.
Good.
It's about facing our fears,
Okay.
our insecurities,
Yeah.
our anger, our jealousy,
Right.
all those parts of ourselves that we'd rather keep hidden.
It sounds intense.
It can be, yeah.
Why would we want to, like, delve into those dark corners of ourselves?
Right.
Doesn't that contradict the whole idea of focusing on love and light?
Well, the thing is, those shadows are a part of us, too. They're
Right.
like these disowned aspects of our psyche that
Yeah.
are craving integration and healing.
Okay.
And as long as we keep them buried,
Right.
they'll continue to kind of sabotage our efforts to live in alignment with the Law of One.
Oh, okay.
They'll manifest as projections, addictions, unhealthy relationships,
Oh.
all those patterns that keep us stuck
Right.
in these cycles of suffering.
So it's not about judging those shadow aspects
No.
or trying to get rid of them.
No.
It's about bringing them into the light of our awareness
Exactly.
and integrating them into a more whole and balanced self.
And that's where practices like meditation, journaling, therapy, energy work can be so helpful.
Okay, yeah.
They provide tools for exploring that inner landscape,
Right.
understanding the roots of those shadow patterns,
Okay.
and transforming them into sources of strength and wisdom.
So instead of being afraid of the darkness,
Right.
we learn to embrace it
Yes.
and see it as an opportunity for growth and healing.
Exactly.
And as we integrate those shadow aspects, we become more whole, more compassionate, more capable of radiating that unconditional love.
And that's ultimately the goal, isn't it? To become more fully realized expressions of the Creator's love and light,
Yeah.
both within ourselves and in the world around us.
And that brings us back to the concept of service to others.
Yes.
So how does shadow work actually enhance our ability to serve others?
Well, you see, when we haven't dealt with our own shadows,
Right.
we tend to project them onto others.
Right.
We judge, we criticize, we
Right.
try to control those around us,
Oh,
often
right.
without even realizing we're doing it.
Oh, that's a good point.
But as we do our shadow work,
Right.
we become more aware of our own projections
Okay.
and less reactive to the perceived flaws of others.
Oh, that makes sense.
So as we heal ourselves,
Right.
we also heal our relationships
Mhm.
and our ability to connect with others
Oh,
from
yeah.
a place of genuine love and acceptance.
Okay.
And that's where the true magic of service to others unfolds.
Right.
When we're no longer burdened by our own shadows,
Yeah.
we can show up for others with greater presence, compassion, clarity. We can offer support without judgment, love without conditions,
Okay.
guidance without ego.
So it's not just about doing good deeds.
Right.
It's about becoming a beacon of light,
Yeah.
radiating the Creator's love in every interaction,
Exactly.
every thought, every word, every action.
And that, my friend, is the essence of living the law of one.
Carla also talks about energy work
Yes.
as a key component of spiritual growth and service to others.
Mm-hmm.
As a Law of One student, I'm already familiar with the importance of energy,
Right.
but I'm always curious to hear new perspectives on how to work with it effectively.
Yeah, and Carla offers some really practical advice.
Okay.
So she emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of our own energy bodies
Okay.
and learning to manage our energy skillfully.
Okay.
She offers techniques for cleansing our energy fields, protecting ourselves from negative energies, raising our vibrations to align with the frequencies of love and light.
Like we're becoming energy alchemists.
I love that, yes.
Right. Transforming these dense, heavy energies into like lighter, more refined frequencies.
Exactly.
And she provides specific exercises and practices that listeners can incorporate into their daily routines.
Yeah, from meditation and visualization to working with the chakras and using crystals and essential oils for energetic support.
So it's about taking a proactive approach to managing our energy,
Yes.
not just passively accepting whatever comes our way.
Exactly. And this ties into the concept of service to others as well.
Okay.
Because when we are energetically balanced
Right.
and aligned with those frequencies of love and light, we naturally radiate that energy outward,
Yeah.
influencing the collective consciousness in a positive way.
It's like we're becoming walking, talking energy generators,
Yes.
amplifying the love and light wherever we go.
Exactly. And that's a powerful way to serve others.
Yeah.
Without even having to lift a finger.
It's amazing how Carla weaves all these threads together.
She does, doesn't she?
Choice, energy work, shadow work,
Yeah.
service to others.
It's a beautiful tapestry.
Creating this tapestry of spiritual living that's both profound and practical.
And one of the key takeaways for me,
Yeah.
as a Law of One student, is this emphasis on personal responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the intellectual concepts
Yeah.
of the Law of One.
Canalize to debate.
Yes, to analyze, to debate the finer points.
Right.
But Carla reminds us that it's ultimately about how we live these principles
Yes.
in our daily lives.
And she doesn't let us off the hook with just vague platitudes.
No, she doesn't.
Right.
She challenges us
She challenges us,
to examine our choices,
our motivations, our interactions.
our motivations, our interactions.
To ask ourselves, am I truly living the Law of One, or am I just talking about it?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's the question.
And she provides those practical tools, those specific techniques
Oh.
and practices, but it's up to us
It is up to us.
to put in the effort, to do the work.
Yeah, to become those spiritual athletes she talks about. Speaking of effort, there's this one concept that keeps coming back to me.
Okay.
The idea of choice as the driving force of our evolution. It's empowering, but also kind of daunting,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say?
It is, yeah.
Like, it's both liberating and terrifying to
Yeah.
realize that every choice we make,
Right.
no matter how seemingly insignificant, it has an impact.
It does.
Not just on our own journey, but like
on the whole, yeah.
on the collective consciousness as well.
Yeah, it's like we're all interconnected.
Right. It's like we're constantly weaving this intricate web of creation with each decision, each action, each thought.
It's a beautiful image.
And pressure. Right.
Well, you know, there's no need to strive for perfection.
Right.
It's more about cultivating awareness.
Okay.
You know, pausing before we act or speak and asking ourselves, is this choice aligned with my highest self?
Right.
Is it contributing to the greater good?
And remembering that we're not alone in this.
Oh, absolutely not.
Carla emphasizes the importance of community.
Yeah.
Of connecting with like-minded souls
Mm.
who share that desire to serve others.
That's where the magic of synergy comes in.
Right.
When we join forces with others who are also striving to live the law of one,
Yeah.
our combined efforts create this ripple effect.
Right. So it's not just about individual growth. It's
Exactly.
about co-creating a more loving and compassionate and harmonious reality together.
It's about collective evolution.
And that brings us back to you, our listener,
Yes,
a dedicated student of the law of one.
absolutely.
Considering everything we've discussed today,
Mm-hmm.
what insights from living the law of one resonate most deeply with you?
Yeah, what really speaks to your heart?
What tools, practices are you inspired to explore further?
And how can you use those insights to kind of refine your own choices, deepen your service to others,
Yeah.
and become a more radiant expression of the Creator's love in your daily life?
This deep dive has provided a wealth of information,
It has.
but the true journey begins now. As you integrate these teachings into your own unique path.
Remember, the game board of life is vast
It is.
and ever-changing,
Yeah.
filled with opportunities for growth,
Right.
service, and the expansion of consciousness.
So embrace the journey, my friend.
Yes.
And may your choices be guided by love, wisdom,
Mm.
and the unwavering light of the Creator.
Oh, my.
There's this one concept that keeps coming back to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's this idea of choice as the driving force of our evolution.
Mm.
Like, it's empowering, but also kind of daunting.
It is, yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
It's both liberating and terrifying to realize that every choice we make,
Every single one.
no matter how seemingly insignificant,
Right.
it has an impact.
Yeah.
Not just on our own journey, but on the collective consciousness as well.
On everything, yeah.
It's like we're constantly weaving this intricate web of creation
That's a great way to put it.
with each decision, each action, each thought.
It's a beautiful image.
No pressure, right?
Well, there's no need to strive for perfection.
Okay, that's good.
It's more about cultivating awareness,
Okay.
pausing before we act or speak, and asking ourselves, is this choice aligned with my highest self?
Okay.
Is it contributing to the greater good?
And remembering that we're not alone in this.
Oh, absolutely not.
Carla emphasizes the importance of community,
Yes, she does.
connecting with like-minded souls
Mm-hmm.
who share that desire to serve others.
That's where the magic of synergy comes in.
Right.
When we join forces with others who are also striving to live the law of one,
Mm-hmm.
our combined efforts create this ripple effect.
So it's not just about individual growth.
Right.
It's about co-creating a more loving and compassionate and harmonious reality together.
Yeah, it's about collective evolution.
And that brings us back to you, our listener.
Yes.
You, a dedicated student of the law of one.
Absolutely.
Considering everything we've discussed today,
Yeah.
what insights from living the law of one resonate most deeply with you?
What really speaks to your heart?
What tools or practices are you inspired to explore further?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you use these insights to refine your own choices,
Yeah.
deepen your service to others,
Mm.
and become a more radiant expression of the Creator's love in your daily life?
That's the big question.
This deep dive has provided a wealth of information,
It has.
but the true journey begins now
Now it's your turn.
as you integrate these teachings into your own unique path.
Remember, the game board of life is vast
It is.
and ever-changing,
Yeah.
filled with opportunities for growth,
Heard.
service, and the expansion of consciousness.
So embrace the journey, my friend.
Yes, embrace it.
And may your choices be guided by love, wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
and the unwavering light of the Creator.
Adonai.